Now, part of the tea ceremony is the wares that are actually used for it. So, Senuriku was also influential in developing the form of the tea ceremony utensils. And he focuses on inherent beauty, not monetary value, again, giving you this sense of an aesthetic being more important than a rank. At this time, the appreciation of rustic wares from Japan and Korea were on the rise. And this idea of focusing on simple, austere, almost organic forms is known as wabi, W-A-B-I. And it's consistent with Zen concepts suggesting austerity and simplicity, that things developed by the earth are better than those developed by human hands. And here we see in these examples two forms that seem almost organic, as if they were found in nature rather than created by human hands. We have so many variables that are changing. There's no sense of consistency to them that we would expect, especially in a world where industry is becoming more and more important. The philosophical version was Sabi, S-A-B-I, which focused on the tranquility of old age. And we're looking specifically at this kogan. This is a water jar, so this is where they're keeping the cool water for cleaning the utensils. The name means ancient stream bank and comes from the surface decoration and the coarse surface. It's supposed to remind you of rocks that you would find on a stream bank, or maybe just looking at the silt that builds up on stream banks. It's also meant to be reminiscent of earth cut by water, which makes sense. This is, after all, a water jar. It's bringing in those organic concepts and ideas. The style here is known as Shino, and Shino is known for rough surface and heavy, usually white glaze. And that glaze is put on very, very heavily, so you'll get sags and runs, and those are intentional. They mean it to be there. In fact, the beauty of it is everything you see here in this vessel, the cracks, what would appear to be mistakes, they're actually intentional. This isn't someone who's just not very good and passes it off as an organic form. This is someone who is so good that they can make the mistakes intentionally and still create a beautiful piece of art because they so understand the philosophy and the concept behind that form. Now, similar aesthetic and interpretive challenges exist here as with the dry landscape gardens. Again, you're trying to make something look like it's natural, but of course we know that there are human hands behind it. So how do you bring those two things together? How do you create something that is so natural that we forget someone made it? The crack and sagging seen here are intentional to suggest an accidental and natural quality, but again, they're created intentionally. The artist does this intentionally. That's really the beauty behind it. You're supposed to look at it and see in it the beauty of nature, which is all around, in this highly controlled environment of the tea ceremony, where you would expect exactly the opposite. You would expect some element of perfection.